Now, it can come on suddenly and damage your everyday well-being, but what can you do to help chronic back pain? You may remember Norman Clark from Hartlepool. Despite originally being diagnosed with a crumbling spine by doctors, he sought a second opinion and was advised to try exercise, and he found a physical activity project called Cardi-Back helped him to improve his condition.
I really didn't know what to do about it. It was getting worse and worse. I went to the doctors and they, after tests and that, they virtually said there was nothing they could do.
So you weren't the sort of person that had back problems? It just came out of nowhere?
No, and they were blaming my job. I worked in engineering. There was a lot of repetitive lifting and what have you, and that had contributed towards it. And eventually my son put me on to this guy, this Neil Sleeman from Cardi-Back. And I was very sceptical at first. No, I've tried all these things, you know. But he persuaded me, and within a very short space of time of doing the Cardi-Back course, there was a definite improvement.
Well, it's a very similar story for my next guest. Barbara Chrisp from Peterlee suffered chronic back pain triggered by a car crash. But through a project supported by NHS County Durham and Darlington, she's found relief and recovery in yoga. Morning to you, Barbara.
Good morning, Mike.
So tell me what happened to you, first of all.
Well, the initial problem was with my back, the lower back. And that was compounded the fact that it was quite a sedimentary job role that I was working on at the time. So it was either working in the office or I was doing a lot of travelling in the car. So the back stayed quite rigid, so it was stiffening up, and I was finding it very, very difficult to actually lie down or actually have a good night's sleep. And just sitting for a long period of time was causing a lot of pain. I
think you're speaking for millions and millions of people when you say that.
Absolutely, yeah.
However, you suffered this car crash.
I did, and the car crash was a little bit later, but to go back to the initial back pain, I actually got into yoga first of all with the physio that I was getting through my work, and the physiotherapist actually suggested that I went into and did yoga classes. So I'd been doing that for quite some time, and literally within a few weeks you could actually feel the muscles releasing in the back, and it actually helps to relax all around the muscles, and it helps you to move a little bit more easily.
Yeah. So was it a symptom of stress with you then, or was it the fact that, you know, somebody was, I don't get back pain at the moment, thankfully,
right,
but everybody has episodes in their life, don't they?
Yes.
And a physio once told me that gravity, you know, I've just hit an age now where gravity alone means that more than 50 years of downward pressure is putting pressure on the discs.
Absolutely. There's tension is held quite strongly across the shoulders and also around the pelvis. But as you get a little bit older and the stomach muscles become a little bit looser, the arch in the back then becomes a lot more delicate, which can then create a tendency to have back problems. So the yoga is all about improving the core muscles around the spine to actually help it stay strong and keep it flexible.
I notice immediately that you're sitting up nice and straight.
Yes,
I am. I'm slouching a bit, aren't I, if I'm being honest?
Absolutely, yes. We're going to have to sort that out.
So what do I need to do? I need to sit back in the chair for a start and push the small of my back into the chair.
Yeah, I mean, what you find is that if you're in a sedimentary role, it's very difficult to actually keep good posture when you're sitting all the time. So I would suggest getting up quite regularly and just stretching out a little bit, tilting in the pelvis a little bit, so you straighten up the spine, stretching up, straighten out the shoulders, standing like a soldier basically. If you imagine what the soldiers stand like, so your shoulders are back.
So maybe I should present more of the show standing up.
Absolutely, yeah.
See, I do immediately feel better.
Yeah, tilt your tailbone, pull your tummy in.
Yeah,
you look great.
There we are.
Absolutely
Do the show
splendid.
like this then.
Yes.
So tell me how yoga has helped you. Because, I mean, what we've just described is just basic relaxation, isn't it? It's not yoga.
It's reposturing, which is yoga. Yoga is very much all around reposturing, keeping the joints flexible, but it's also about relaxing the mind and bringing a lot of relaxation postures as well. So it does help you to refocus, keeps you calm, stops the stress levels. So anybody suffering from anxiety, what you normally find is the very shallow breathing. So yoga really helps because it teaches you how to breathe a lot deeper. So it gets you very, very relaxed, and therefore you're able to actually maintain your workload a lot easier.
I'm way too fidgety, I think, to get into yoga.
No. What we tend to do is with your fidgeting, it's all because your mind is very, very active.
My body's always quite tense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm a classic case, but at the same time, I think I'd find it difficult to get into.
I think once you start, you need to give your classes probably about 3 or 4 times so you can learn how to relax a little bit. And once you actually get into it, it is very, very good, and it does actually change your whole outlook in life as well.
So how would you start? Difficult to do on the radio, I know, but you would sit in the way you've described.
Yes.
And you would make sure the environment was right.
Yes.
And then you'd start the really deep breathing and take it from there.
You just build up your breathing. You start and concentrate on your exhalation, so it helps to calm down the body. Breathing through the stomach rather than the chest, so it helps to relax the chest down. And also just sitting in a nice, quiet, warm environment, not too hot. It needs to be warm, but not too hot, and well ventilated, so it allows you to get fresh air into the body, and it will then help to relax you down as you're going.
I've got Sharon Pounder, Sports Development Officer for Peterlee Council, on the other line listening to this. Morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
Are you doing this along with us?
I am, yes. Of course.
Morning, Sharon.
You two know each other, of course,
We do,
don't you?
yes.
We do.
Explain to me, Sharon, then, how this is good for relaxation generally, but explain to me how it relieves chronic back pain.
It's about your posture and improving your muscles and your core stability, and the relaxation also helps you with the physical and mental side, so the relaxation has got a lot to do with it. I mean, Barbara's an expert on the yoga, and I have tried it myself, and I was quite, shall I say, taken aback, because I thought yoga's not for me. And when I tried it, it was challenging, very challenging, and it is a really, really good, very low impact form of exercise. I'd recommend it to anybody suffering with low back pain.
Yeah, the back pain with you then, Barbara, has gone completely.
Yes, it has, and it's all down to actually standing with a lot better posture and strengthening those muscles, but also getting the spine moving. Because again, years ago people used to say if you've got a bad back, rest it completely, and that nowadays they say you've got to keep it moving. And that's the better way to go, because the more flexible spine, the stronger it is as well.
Yeah, people used to be off work for weeks, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just laying down in a darkened room.
Yeah. And it's
that's
all
the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, and also learning to move the spine better. So bending from the hips rather than the centre of the spine, which will then put pressure on it as well.
And this scheme, Sharon, is part of a wider effort in County Durham, isn't it, to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease in the over 40s?
That's correct, it is. It's part of the CPAL, and our particular project that Barbara works on. She's one of our professional instructors. We have a team of excellent instructors that deliver various classes across East Durham, in particular Peterlee, and the CPAL funding is sort of allowed PACES to take place, and that's overseen by County Durham Sport, and it is basically to reduce the risk of CVD by increasing physical activity levels.
And are people taking part then? Are they going for this?
They certainly are. We were quite overwhelmed in our first year of delivery. We have targets that were set, and it sort of highlighted the need for more physical activity programs like this in Peterlee and in East Durham. But PACES is also part of a wider intervention programme which covers East Durham and other parts of Durham, and it increases or gives people the opportunity to take part in exercises, including your basic exercise like your swimming, your walking and your cycling.
Yeah. So how much of this do you have to do then to make a difference?
All the projects are different. Some of the projects are one-to-one basis, some are group, some run for a certain amount of weeks. Our particular project is an ongoing project where people can take part in physical activity from once a week right up to 7 times a week.
And Barbara, no back pain at all?
No, not at all.
Never even a twinge?
Well, obviously I am getting a little bit older now, so you do have to be careful. But what I find is, because I've learned how to do that more properly, it actually improves dramatically and I get much less. But with the car crash itself, going back to that, that's where I actually broke my leg. So again, this was just November last year, and I was back teaching just a couple of months ago. So again, it doesn't matter what your ability is, what your current level is, there's always a way to actually do some form of exercise, and I'm living proof of that. You know, the yoga has actually dramatically reduced the muscle loss in my leg, and also kept the flexibility in my leg as well.